Oh, now you back.
Okay, you back.
Child, Spectrum don't want us to be great.
I'm
If you know
AT&T.
it's a prayer, y'all pray. Hello, people out there in a beautiful world of Facebook and YouTube and wherever, near and far, wherever you are. Say hello. Ooh. I don't know why y'all be hating on these vocals.
Is that what we be doing though? Is it hate?
It really is.
Oh.
You had to turn your phone down. Make sure it's done. Hi, everybody that is tuning in. Please say hello. Tell me how angelic my voice is.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize in advance.
It is going to be a long, eventful night. I am high on pills.
Well, we just gonna dive right in.
I'm about to play the intro. If y'all have joined, please do us a favor and share as we play this. Say hello. Let us know you here. Ain't nobody messing with her. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Hello. Welcome to Occasionally Posh, where we enjoy life, laughs, and shenanigans. I am your girl, Big Booty Judy, aka Chassie B.
Lord Jesus.
And I'm so shy and I'm so done with Mary's face right now. But welcome.
Somebody's at the door. I'm going to run to the
Welcome.
door real quick.
All righty. Thank y'all for tuning in so far. Please say hello. Please comment, share, join in on these wonderful topics, etc., etc. While we wait on Chassie B to come back, Mary, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
I am friend of the show. Been here numerous times. My name is Mary J. I am a licensed therapist in the state of North Carolina, aka the lady. I'm not about to read out all of those extra credentials. Y'all know who I am. A pleasure to be here as always. And Chastity was supposed to do my air horns.
Am I back? Pew, 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 pew.
You late though. You late.
Pew, 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 pew.
My internet, so I ain't got nothing. But good. But welcome, Mary. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I need to say a prayer for this spectrum. Let us pray. No, let me stop. All right, thank you for tuning in. We always start with a foreplay, and Chassie is first.
So, let's talk shit about yourself. What is a negative trait of yours or characteristic of yours that you know probably gets on other people's nerves? Who wants to go first?
Mary look like she ready.
Oh, I was admiring my nails. My toxic trait is I'm a smart ass. And I disconnect like when not even that I don't care about something, but like it is when I don't care about something, like I'm really quick to disengage like from anything. I'll just give you a I don't care attitude, and people don't know what to do with that. So that's it. I'm gonna ask. But I'm a work in progress. Therapy.
I know that's right.
Therapy
What's
is
your
key.
sunshine?
So when I am about to get upset during an argument, I laugh and it drives people up the wall.
I'm
Like
with.
it's
I'm
one of
with.
them like it's one of them like you don't get out my
That sound like somebody
Mhm.
about to cut you.
Now I got to cut you.
Dude, but I do. I chuckle and it drives my husband crazy. He like, ain't nothing I'm saying funny right now, and I'm like, I'm not laughing at what you saying, man. Saying it's funny. I'm just laughing because I got to, because not. So I'm gonna
Because
laugh.
if I don't laugh, I'm gonna kill you. So
Right, that part. What about you, Chassie B?
So mine is I am a very emotional person. When I love hard, but when I am upset or not in love with you anymore, I'm emotional to I can love you or I'm emotional to where I can hate you and show you that I hate you.
mm,
And it's one extreme to the other.
Mm.
It's really no middle ground. I don't know how to get to that middle ground. I go from to
all right, crazy.
Mm. Showing a
All
little,
right.
showing a little crazy trait there, but all right. A little crazy
Little
trait, a
teeny
little
bit.
crazy trait.
Little teeny
Oh
bit.
man, so Vicky said hello, hello, Vicky.
Hey,
Hi,
Vicky.
Vic.
And the first foreplay was, what is a negative trait of yours that you know probably gets on people's nerves? So y'all comment and tell talk junk about yourself, as Chassie B said. And I know I'm still freezing, ain't I? Can y'all at least hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we
Oh
can hear.
Jesus,
It's
it's
fine.
just getting bad here
It
lately
does it
every
whenever
week.
we first start, but then by the middle, it's fine. It's crazy. We'll figure it
Right,
out.
right. All right, mine is, since we got this good topic tonight, mine is name a piece of bad advice you have given your kids.
I can go first.
Go ahead.
Words should not bother you, and that is not true because words do
Mm,
indeed bother you.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
good. That's good. In what instance, not like a whole story, of course, but in what instance, what was happening for you to say that?
Somebody had called one of the boys a name. Uh, this was the name, y'all, which was so stupid. A Fiji water. I said, first of all, Fiji water is expensive, so that's good. At least they didn't call you great value. So, but I was like, "Are you water?" No, she didn't pull up the Fiji bottle.
Literally have it right here beside me. Funny, but go ahead.
But I was like, Fiji is not something bad. But I was like, are you a bottle of water? And he was like, no. And I was like, well, I don't understand why you are allowing that to hurt you. And I was like, words do not hurt people. And then even as I was saying it, I was like, but words do hurt people.
Yeah.
But still, you're not a Fiji bottle water bottle. So
That's funny.
That's very funny. What about you, Mary?
I give my kids bad advice all the time. Guess it would depend on which kid. I'm always telling AJ to cuss somebody out because he's so passive. Um, Malachi, don't get caught. Um, do with that what you will. Same thing for my oldest son. Don't get caught. So, I'm not gonna say anything on here to incriminate me or them, but don't get
don't get
caught.
caught.
Yeah, don't be stupid. So that's it.
I
I
understand.
think I think our fault. I think I fought where I don't know if I give. I mean, everybody gives bad advice. I'm not gonna say I don't sit and give bad advice, but my problem with my kids is when, well, my oldest rather, because my youngest ain't old enough to know no better. Whenever something is going on in his life and it's awkward for me, I just shun him away and say I'm gonna talk about it later, and then we don't ever talk about it.
So you don't give no advice.
I ain't giving none, none at
Crazy.
all. I'm like, yeah. I mean, because growing up, I mean, I love my parents to death, don't get me wrong, but we didn't have a lot of sit down, serious conversations in our household. Like, just being real. Like, back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, they were like, just do what I say, not as I do. Or, I'm grown, you just do what I say. You know what I'm saying? Like, it,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
never a culture of, we just sat down and had deep conversations. I mean, I ain't saying it never happened, but it wasn't nothing that happened on the regular. So I think I just don't know how
Right.
to do it, if that makes sense.
I get it. I feel like even in my household, even though I feel like Mama was pretty lenient. She wasn't like a very hardcore parent. She was easy to talk to. But I mean, just as kids, you just don't feel comfortable talking to your parents anyway. For the most part, some people
Hmm.
do. Biscuit does. It's a gift and a curse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, like it's just hard to have those hard conversations with kids
It
sometimes.
is.
It's
It
uncomfortable
definitely
sometimes.
is.
Like, why are you
It
asking me this? I
definitely
don't know. I'm not old enough. I'm still I'm
is.
still somebody's child.
Right. That's always, you gonna always be some. But yeah. Uh, all right, for those of you who are just joining, we just did our 2 4 play questions. We trying to behave tonight, y'all. So if y'all wonder why we being so behaviorable, we trying to behave. Behaviorable ain't the word,
Behaviorable.
but we trying to behave tonight. Shut up. Um, so the first 4 play question was, what is a negative trait of yours that you know probably gets on people's nerves? And then the second one was, name a piece of bad advice you have given your kids. I asked that question because tonight we are talking about accountability. And I think sometimes we need to look back on, we pretty good parents, don't get me wrong, but we ain't perfect by no means. So, we want to talk about this culture of accountability. And so whenever we thought of this topic, of course, we had to bring Miss Mary J on because we know she gonna get the hood therapist ratchet educated version of everything. Okay.
What I do, it's what I'm known for. That is my niche in the therapy community, is giving it to you hood.
Yes, yes,
Right,
yes. We're
right.
here for it.
Yes, we are. We are. So Chastity had wanted to start with a story, I think. So I'll let her go ahead.
Yes. So the one of the reasons why we brought up this subject is because I was recently on Facebook on a ex coworker of mine. Um, Status had popped up, and I'm not gonna say it verbatim, but I'm just gonna summarize it real quick. So anyway, she starts off with saying that she's a good mother to her 5 year old, and she busts her tail to make sure that her 5 year old has everything that she needs in the world. Then she goes on to say that she wasn't the best mother to her older kids, which I think she has 2 or 3 that are adults. And but she doesn't understand why they don't have life figured out, and why they expect her to do things for them, like help them with their bills and stuff like that, and they're selfish bastards, and just calling them a whole bunch of names and little, just every cuss word under the sun except for the child of God is what she called her own kids.
Mm,
um and she wanted advice, and she wanted people to be on her side, and for the most part there was a lot of people that was on her side. But I came in and I said, out of your own mouth, you stated that you wasn't a good parent, and you can't dictate how your kids are gonna handle life when you haven't gave them the tools necessary to be an adult. You said that you wasn't a good parent, and now you're a good
mm,
parent to this 5 year old. How do you think that that makes them feel? Like, you wasn't good to me, but you're catering to this 5 year old. You're the parent that I wanted you to be to this 5 year old, and here I am, 25, and you're calling me a bastard because I need help with my phone bill. That doesn't make sense.
mm. It don't.
So I wanted to bring Mary on, or I wanted to bring this topic up whenever we knew that we was bringing her on, because at what point do parents take accountability for basically fucking up their kids?
Mm,
They don't.
straight like that. Straight like that. Go ahead, Mary J. What you feel about it?
They don't. That's it. I mean, so two things can be true at one time, right? You can do your best as a parent, but your best can also not be good enough.
Right.
Right.
So I think that that's something that we as parents, it's a two-side street. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that kids need to realize, and that's something that parents need to realize. Us as parents is I did my best, but for the kid, it wasn't good enough.
Hmm.
And in order to be accountable for something, you have to acknowledge that it's a problem. And there's a lot of parents that aren't willing to acknowledge that they are the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because it circles back around to I did my best. Okay, you did your best, but it was still kind of trash.
Right.
And once you know better, do you do better? You see what I'm saying? Like the story that the person you were just talking about with her, saying that she treated her older kids X, Y, and Z, but then she caters to this younger child. So what are you doing to improve that relationship with your older kids? Are you catering to them in any way? Have you apologized for the trash way that you treated them? And apparently not, by the way that you were talking about, she worded this whole post. That's the problem within itself, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
I go through a multitude of things with my kids, but it's never anything for social media because I don't need the peanut gallery chiming in on my parenting skills.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day is this social media parenting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's accountability, like you, that's the whole topic, and a lot of us as parents are not willing to hold ourselves accountable for how we parented our kids because we don't want to acknowledge that we did anything wrong. We don't want to put the work in to do anything better because once you know better, you have to do better, and in order to know better, you have to acknowledge it, and if you don't
Right.
acknowledge it,
Right.
then it's not anything that's going to ever happen. You know what I'm
Still
saying?
stay
So
still laying. Like,
yeah, ignorance is bliss. I say it all the time. If you paid attention on Facebook, I say a lot. Ignorance is bliss, and it's a whole lot of dumbass folks running around here because they just
Yeah.
choose to be ignorant to the whole situation. I had
Right.
to. I have a my relationship with my oldest son is by no means an ideal situation, but I also have to think that I was a baby when I had him. You know what I'm saying? And that too plays a
Mm-hmm.
part into it as to how old you were when you became a parent, how you were
Mm-hmm.
parented. I wasn't parented. My parents were 14 and 15 when I was born. That's freshmen in high school that had
right.
Right.
babies. You know what I'm saying? So then I passed this trauma along. And if I didn't decide that I wanted to fix it somewhere, it would just continue on. But
Mm-hmm.
I know better and I do better. So I had to acknowledge and sit down. And I actually talked to my son last night, was like, we need therapy. And he was like, yeah, we do. He ain't gonna go. But the he ain't gonna do it. But it's the fact
Right.
that we even acknowledge that we have some things in our relationship that we need to work on. And with the story that you were telling before, the age, not even the age difference. Kaylin got, not the worst of me, but he certainly didn't get the best of me, right? Because I was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
With AJ, I learned a lot when it comes to parenting because of his disability. Malachi damn near got the best of me. Kalea gets the most awesome part of me because,
The grandbaby. That's of course. That's the grandbaby.
yeah, because I get to do all the things with her that I didn't get to do with my kids. One, because I didn't have the knowledge, and two, because I didn't have the damn money. So once you
Mm.
know better, you do better. And a lot of
Facts.
people are not willing to accept the fact that the way that they parented was poor as hell. It was trash. You expose your kids to a lot of adverse situations that they probably didn't need to be exposed to. You probably parented your child the way that you were parented. And we already know
Mm-hmm.
parenting some generations back is certainly not ideal because it's always been a don't ask, don't tell
Mm-mm.
policy. It's
Mm.
always been,
Mm-hmm.
all about corporal punishment. And then we also have to acknowledge that parenting is not one size fits all. No one kid needs the exact same thing that the next kid is going to need. You got
Yes.
Right.
all of these different personalities, so you have to tailor, to fit to your kids. And a lot of people don't want to do that either because they lazy as hell when it comes to parenting.
Yeah.
And I will say that being a parent of multiple kids with multiple personalities is hard. And child, you have to put in some work because one child you have to coddle this way, another child you have
Mm-hmm.
to coddle this way. One child you can
Mm-hmm.
have this conversation with, but the other child you can't have this conversation with.
Mm-hmm.
My God. And then some people just parent their kids the same way from the oldest all the
Across
way
the
to the
board.
youngest. And I'm like, how? I got
And it's
two and
unfair.
yeah,
Why don't you make the same grades that your sister made? Well, because I'm not my sister.
right.
What about,
I'm a different
the things
child.
that I'm a whole different child. I might learn different. I got a whole learning style. So again, what works for this one
Mm-hmm.
is not gonna work for that one. And I learned that dealing with Malachi, not Malachi, but AJ and Kaylin. When AJ came along, my whole world shifted. Being 21 and having already a kid that was 3 and then having another one with autism, I was like, what the am I doing here? But I had to figure it out as I went along because, like I said, I didn't have anybody that parented me. And my
Mm-hmm.
parents don't acknowledge that they parented poor. Still to this day, even with me being a therapist and sitting having these types of conversations and,
Mm-hmm.
trying to really build a relationship, my dad will be like, well, no, I wasn't there, but at least I wasn't there because I could have been there and I could have been beating on your mama. And I'm like, nigga, that is not even what
What the hell?
rather than
It's
just
not.
acknowledge the fact that you
I
were a
I'm
poor
can't.
sorry.
parent. And it's you
Right.
laughing, but
I don't
Excuses.
want to laugh.
this is a
It's
conversation
so
that we had
serious.
year before last, where
Mm.
my aunties had to intervene and be like, Arthur, what the hell is you? That ain't what the girl. She just asking you.
I can't.
Yeah. I can't either. I can't either, man. Just hit the comments for a second. Shalana said, "Hey, ladies. Hey, Shalana. Thank you for
It's
joining."
in a
Yolanda
minute.
also said, "Hello, ladies. Thank you, Yolanda, for
Hello.
joining." We're talking about accountability tonight. We got specialist expert hood therapist Mary J on. So we so happy to have you guys. I seen something that it actually is funny, but it posted today and kind of tie up how I feel about it. If I can show it. There we go. It says accountability feels like an attack when you're not ready to acknowledge how your behavior harms others.
Oh,
That's
Hallelujah.
a whole word. Oh
Hallelujah.
Lord.
I need that on a shirt.
Hallelujah.
Sorry. I was
On
freezing.
today, Lord. Hallelujah. Uh-oh, you breaking
But I
up,
Oh,
put it
child.
up
We
so
ain't hitting.
child, you
look
over here
right.
sounding like a
Y'all
robot.
hear me?
But
Sorry.
yeah, but that right there ain't nothing but the truth. And I will admit, so I'm gonna take it from parenting and I'm gonna take it to relationship real quick. um, I remember when me and my baby daddy had first broke up, and I blamed him for 100% of it. And then as I've grown in my life, I've realized that I was probably 65% responsible for it.
Good for you for the acknowledgement and the accountability, friend. We'll take 65%, damn it.
But I remember like once I realized that half of it was half of it was me. I was
You said
upset.
65%. That's more than half, but go ahead.
Let's keep it
Go ahead,
real. Let's
though.
keep it real.
Go ahead.
I started to can you please post that on your oh he said can
Will
you post
do,
that on the page?
Sam.
Um
I'll
After
open it.
I started taking accountability for the things that I was responsible for in that relationship, it actually made it easier for me to be able to not be as angry with him and be able to move on efficiently and be okay. Like
Yeah.
my hands up, I'm done. I was wrong. What I did was absolutely wrong.
It
And
goes back to you did the best you could, but your best still
Mhm.
wasn't good enough. And that's
right.
okay
Mhm.
sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. And parenting is layered as well. I mean, some people I have my child, I feed them, I clothe them. I did my job.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
not the
man.
case.
Yeah.
It's not the case. It's so many more things that come along with parenting than just the basic necessities. And so I feel like just because you paid the bill, you made sure they wasn't homeless. You still did you communicate? Did you have conversations? Did you educate? Did you support? Like it's so many more different avenues than just saying, "Oh, I had him, and now I'm gonna make sure he eat or she eat and have a roof over their head." And I feel like that's
And
where a
that's
lot of
it.
parents mess up.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where a lot of
True indeed. True.
A lot of
parents.
parents don't realize that. So I work with majority of my clients are adolescents, DJJ clients, stuff like that. A lot of parents don't realize that they are sometimes the problem. Like you bringing your kid, you need a little piece of therapy. It's not necessarily because you've passed along this trauma. You've passed along
Mm-hmm.
these beliefs. You've passed along these ideals that you've held on to that you got from your parents. And the world is ever changing, right? And I say this all the
Mhm.
time on here. Everything is supposed to change except for some certain things, right? Marriage is
Right.
that's the monolith, and parenting is the monolith. It never changes. And that's not true. That's not accurate. Like
Right.
Right.
you cannot, I've said this on Facebook, you cannot parent your kids in 2022 the way that you were parented in 1980, 1990, because the world has changed so much. And this
Mm-hmm.
is something we talked about as far as being able to make our mistakes, in private because we didn't have cell phones. Because hell, if we'd have had cell phones back in I probably
Woo,
wouldn't be a therapist right now.
child,
Probably.
probably be in jail somewhere.
Right. So how can I feel like I can effectively parent my kids if I don't take into consideration all the little nuances that come along with being a parent now? It's impossible.
Right. Right. It
It's
is. It
impossible and
is.
it doesn't happen, but the whole basis of it is accountability, holding yourself accountable. And as a
Yeah.
parent
Yeah.
that had to hold themselves accountable for a lot of things that, my son seen growing up, that's hard. It's hard to
Yeah.
think that I did the best that I could, but it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
It's hard to feel like you put yourself on the line and you did X, Y, and Z for these kids and they ungrateful as hell and blah, 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 blah. But your kid is
Mm-hmm.
still sitting over there like, but I ain't even asked to be here.
Right. Child.
That part. That part.
Yo,
I wasn't there
I
when you
didn't
made
even
me.
ask to be here.
I was not there.
well,
Uh.
I just want to be because of what you said. I'm gonna have a vulnerable moment right now. Today, I have cried pretty much the whole day today.
You sweet little
Um,
peach, you.
after I dropped my kids off this morning, y'all know I got into some people know I got into that little bump up, and right whenever I was about to go to the hospital to get checked out, I get a call from the school that my son is acting up. And y'all, I broke down and I cried from the time I got in the car all the way until I got finished talking to that lady. And I'm talking about like, like and I
See,
was just
see.
like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I ask my kids constantly, like, is there something that I can do better? Let me know if I'm doing something wrong and we can see if we can figure it out. So then later on, I was on the phone with my mama and I was just talking to her. And I figured out that a lot of their problems and a lot of my problem is I don't get any help with my kids when it comes to their dad. And when I say no help, I mean none, unless it is babysitting. And that's because I don't want to put it off on anybody else because my mama will watch them for me if I need her to, and my aunt will. But he's their daddy and he should watch them. But financially, emotionally, physically, um, playfully, taken to the park fully, that nigga does nothing for them. So I have to be the mama, I have to be the daddy, I have to coddle them, and I also have to discipline them. I feel
Mm,
bad for disciplining them, so then I over coddle them.
mm,
And I was like, that is the problem. I am their problem. And then I was like, but I don't know what to do. I have no other option because I don't have any male figures in my life that are positive that can help me out when it comes to them. All it is a bunch of women that can help them out. But there's no men here that can show them how to be men. It's just me. And it sucks. And I'm like, it sucks because I don't want to be that person that has have to toughen them up. I want to be the person that's able to hold them and love on them and
nurture.
all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
You just want
So
to be the nurturer.
Right.
yes, I don't want to be the person that disciplines them. And it sucks because they get away with a lot of stuff because I feel bad for punishing them because I'm like, you don't know. I mean, I'm teaching you, and but for the most part, you don't know because you get away with everything.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
You got to establish some firm. You got to establish some
When
bound.
I can't,
Now,
it's hard. No, like it's hard to establish boundaries whenever it's always me. It's me 24/7. I literally have to pay him, give him money to take them to the movies, or I pay for the movies. Like that's the only time I get a break, but I'm spending money. So
have you
is
had
it
a
really a break?
conversation
Because,
with him about your
hun,
expectations?
I can have a conversation with him every damn day, and he will say he hears me, and it goes in one ear and out the other. And when I am just so frustrated, and it ticks me off whenever men talk about women keep their kids from their daddies, and kids need their daddies, and all this kind of stuff. I done gave this nigga every outlet that he could have, that he could desire, that every man on this earth could probably say that they want, and he just spits in my face. He does nothing for them. He's probably spent $100 on them since Christmas, and that's probably.
So, what
And
are
I'm
his
probably being very
consequences? So, what are the consequences for him not meeting your expectations?
He doesn't have any.
You have to establish some
But
consequences.
what consequences can I give him?
I was about to say,
Now
I want to
that
hear
I
this.
don't, I now that I
I was
don't
about
know
to
because I don't
say, I
know,
want to
I don't
hear
know
this.
the ins and outs of the relationship. But
Hold
in
on.
all situations,
Okay. I'm going to go to the door real quick, but I can still hear you.
Okay.
when with the ins and outs of any relationship, boundaries and consequences. If a person isn't meeting your expectations and doing what it is that you need for them to do, then there has to be some type of consequence for it. And like I
Yeah.
said, I don't know the ins and outs of the relationship, but if he is there in that, if you're a dad in that capacity, then you need to damn be a daddy. Like,
I mean,
what's the problem?
that's definitely factual. I think the hard part is because I've been that parent. So I think the hard part is finding a limit of, you know, not affecting the kids because we are that type of mom. I'm just speaking for Chastity. That's not going to talk junk to our kids about their dad. That's not going to sit here and tell our kids that your dad ain't shit, whatever the case may be. Excuse my language. That he don't pay the bills. That he don't pay me child support. He ain't bought you nothing.
We not
We
supposed
ain't
to
that
cuss
type of
on here.
parent, huh?
I said we not supposed to cuss on here.
Oh,
I
y'all
said,
can. I
I'm
just
about
try
to
She,
not
watch
to.
she
us
No,
just
no,
don't.
no.
all
Y'all
the
can.
time.
Y'all can. Y'all
She
can.
just
I just
Supposed to
don't.
don't.
stress me out. I'm a
But
heathen.
but I guess I grew up in a household where I always heard my parents arguments and disagreements, and mama treat me like this and daddy do this and daddy didn't show up and I'm reason why I didn't show up because mama did this. Like I grew up with it, so I try my very hardest not to put my son in the middle of our problems.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
that's grown people problems. That's not their problems. So it's hard to find the limit of no, you don't want them to be in the middle, but also I'm tired of this mess and they need to know it too. Like it's
Right.
hard.
You need to know that this nigga ain't shit.
It's very hard. Like,
It is,
especially
but
when you
you
had this
trust
culture
and
of like
believe.
Chastity said, especially when you had this culture like Chastity said that people say that mamas be keeping the kids away from the daddy and mama the one be full of the, making the drama and stuff like that. All mamas, aka us, don't do that. but
Please come
but
get
you
these
still
damn
find
kids.
yourself. But you still find yourself trying to be like, all right, I got to be the mature one. So how can I handle this mature when it really ain't on us?
It's
Right.
not.
I'm tired. I am tired of being mature. I am tired of being the mama. I am tired of being the mama and the daddy entwined. I am tired of being the person that disciplines, and I'm tired of being the person that coddles all the time. I am sick and tired. I'm
So
just exhausted.
what I will say from having kids whose fathers have been absent is I never had to like take AJ's dad for example. I've never had to badmouth Spencer. Hell, I almost forgot his name just now. I've never had to badmouth him, right? Never had to because I knew that once AJ got old enough to see, he would see. He
Mhm.
knows that it's always just been me and him. With AJ, it's always been me and AJ against the world. AJ was 3. Last time he seen any of his dad's family, AJ will be 21 in June.
Dang.
Yeah, not seen them. They do this whole big thing on Facebook every couple of me and his auntie. I'm pretty sure she gonna see this because she my friend on Facebook. But like I done said before, you don't nobody want no smoke. She had done this whole big thing like 2 years ago where she
God
had got
did.
on Facebook and oh, I'm looking for my son, I'm looking for my nephew, and so I wake up, true story. I wake up, it's like 2 years ago. I wake up to like 7 or 8 inboxes from people like, yo, Chris, because again, don't nobody want no smoke. Chris is on Facebook saying that she looking for AJ and she ain't seen him and you keep AJ from them. And I'm like, okay, so she's in my hometown, which is yay big. My dad is there, my mama there, my auntie's there, my granny there, my sisters is there. We ain't hard to find if you want to see him, right? So I inboxed her like, girl, if you don't get your ass off Facebook with these shenanigans talking about you looking for AJ, because we not hard to find. Like it was actually some girl that had got on her post and she had gave the girl AJ's name, and the girl had inboxed another Adrian thinking that it was my son talking about your auntie looking for you. Wasn't even AJ. My son don't even have social media like that. So it had
Yeah.
got real ugly. So I say
Mm.
all that to say that I never had the bad mouth. None of them people, because anytime that the opportunity has presented itself for them to come in and be in AJ's life, and AJ a grown ass man, here's his phone number, here's whatever, and they don't follow through. So now
Mm.
AJ sees that it's never been my mama. It's these people that don't want to do X, Y, and Z. Never
Yeah.
had to badmouth anybody because eventually these kids are gonna see, even your kids. You think that your kids are very resilient and they're smart as
Very
hell. We don't
smart.
give kids
Mm-hmm.
enough credit for
We
what we
don't.
think what we think that they know. You know what I'm
That's
Mm-hmm.
saying?
true.
That's
So
Hmm.
fact.
these kids are seeing and they absolutely know who it is that's there for them, who it is that's being supportive, who it is that's doing X, Y, and Z. And then when they get a little older, teenagers and stuff like that, and y'all can really sit down and have that conversation. It's a conversation to be had. But as of right now, you continue to be the best mama that you can be.
Yep.
And that's it. That's all you can do as a parent is your best, even if
Yep.
sometimes it ain't fucking good enough. That's
Yep.
it.
Yeah, a long time ago I had to realize that I couldn't be that person who focused on what the other person was not doing anymore because it was draining me. It was taking my
Yeah,
good vibes away. Like it sucks. Don't get me wrong. Like you want the partner that you had the child with to do what he's supposed to do or do what she's supposed to do. You want to be that responsible, mature people in in a parenting relationship where y'all can communicate and y'all can co-parent. And you want all of those things, but at the end of the day, the only person you can control is yourself.
if that's
So
it.
Right.
so I had to just realize a long time ago, like after years and years of stressing and harping on what he ain't doing and what he is doing and the example that he set. And I'm like, all I can do is focus on what I'm doing and that's it and doing the best that I can. And that's it. Like,
Exactly.
and I
Yeah.
literally don't care anymore. I don't care if I get a dime or not. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I really don't care if he getting in trouble or not anymore. Like, I just really don't care anymore because me caring is changing nothing. So
Right.
like,
You
what's the
investing all of that energy, putting
point?
all of that energy out there, being mad and being angry, and it ain't doing
Right,
nothing at
So
all.
right.
typically, I could give two fucks about him. I'm like, I do it for my kids. I do it. I'm gonna make it happen. This week was just not a good week.
And
It was, and
that's understandable.
and
That's
I
understandable.
was angry,
And you
and I was like,
entitled to
I'm tired.
that.
You are. You very entitled. Very entitled.
Nobody has a good day every day. I stress
Mm-mm.
that. There's no such thing.
Nobody.
Right.
It's times I don't have a good week every month. It's sometimes I don't have a good month every damn year. It's a struggle out here,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Baby,
as
let's
a
go.
single parent.
Life and it's
And there,
hard.
I seen somebody, ain't it? I seen somebody post something earlier that say it's a difference between a single woman and a single parent. If the child's father is still doing, then you're not a single parent, you're a single woman, right?
Mhm.
That makes sense. And that it has
Mhm.
some merit to it because you're right. In me and Shaheem's situation, I'm a single woman, not a single parent, because I'm a deadbeat. My son lived with him.
You know what? Stop.
You
Don't do
stop saying
that. Don't
that.
do that.
Love being a
Come on
deadbeat
now.
parent. This
Don't
is
do
this is what if this is what these guys have
Lucky.
been doing forever. This is awesome. Ask Brittany. My son had called me the other day and was like, "Mom, I'm coming up there for the summer." And I was like,
For what?
"Shit, coming where?" Now, mind you, he got to be 18. That's a grown man. I'm like, shit, I'm trying to have a warm lady summer out. So he put
Okay,
his
warm
dad
lady
on the phone.
summer.
His dad was like, "So Malachi stay in the summer with you?" I was like, "Well, who the hell gonna watch him? Because I got shit to do. I'm
That's a
not gonna
grown
be
man.
home."
Hilarious.
So,
That is freaking hilarious.
and the truth, I can
Yeah.
show.
Truth
Hey,
today. Huh, let
I
me go
don't
to
have
these
time.
comments real quick, y'all.
But being a single parent, Chastity, you are a single parent. You're a single parent, and that's unfair as hell. If
Did
you
it
ever
freeze
want to
again,
jump
That's
in,
Chanel?
let
facts.
me know.
That's facts. All right, go into the comments. What you say?
Oh, nothing. Go ahead.
I swear my internet be fine until I want to talk. And then it act the fool. It's like it's good when I ain't talking. Maybe I just need to shut up. Um, so Jenny Jen gave some hearts when you was crying earlier. You know, she was giving you some love. Sam will
No, that was
I
for
definitely post
MJ.
that on the page for you. You know what? Yeah, man, it's taking up time. But anyway, Yolanda said, I know what you feel. I used to be in that boat. My boy's father at the end had to take them because when they grew up to become a man, he had to take over.
I would never.
Yes.
I mean, not saying that you was wrong, but I.
That's a difference.
Sam's first, I'm gonna read his other comment before I read this one because you got to respond to the other one. This one says, "Sometimes we are protecting the very thing that is killing us." That's facts. That is facts
Mm-hmm.
on facts on facts. All right, this one I'm sure it comes to you, Mary J. He says, "Are you able to give an example of a consequence in a different situation?"
Absolutely. A consequence can be anything. If you have consequences and repercussions for your kids, you set a boundary. You cannot be on your phone after 9 o'clock. If I catch you on your phone, I'm going to take your phone. The consequence is you take the damn phone. It's just that simple. That's the
But how do
consequence.
you
The
do that to a
consequence.
parent? How, I,
To a
That's
parent
what
that's
I
not
said.
parenting.
So with the ins and outs, I don't know how to do that because I guess it's dependent upon each relationship, right? Like I said, for AJ and Kaylin, I never had to put down a consequence because their dads wasn't around anyway. You know what I mean? And I never had that
Mhm.
situation with Shaheem because he's a good dad. But I guess the consequence would be whatever you feel like it needs to be. Do you all need to sit down and have a conversation together where you tell the kids that this is what's going on and it's like this, and this? And does he care about how his kids view him? Does he care about his kids not thinking that he's this stand-up guy? I don't know.
Girl, they would hate me if I did that to them.
Would
It
they?
would be that's
But
God.
again, do you think that your kids don't know what's going on?
I think that they do know. I
mhm.
think that. I think that they feel like he is their brother sometimes, and they are more concerned about his well-being.
We is not friends. No, let me stop. Go ahead.
And so,
We can't be friends. I'm sorry. Go
but
ahead.
they listen, they feel like that's their brother, and they want to make sure that he's okay and all this kind of stuff. And if I was to
But
talk,
that sucks as kids to even have that responsibility to want to worry about your parent like that.
That
That's
part.
exactly,
trash. And some you need to hold him accountable for that type of shit right there.
Right.
It's trash. That's trash that your kids are worried about you in that capacity. And this is speaking as someone that has had to worry about their mother. You know what I'm saying? You've
hmm
been my friend on Facebook forever. You've seen the highs and lows, the ebbs and flows of the relationship with me and my mama. That's trash. And it sucks as a kid to have that type of responsibility, especially as a little kid. I'm a
right,
Mm-hmm.
grown ass woman and I don't want that responsibility now of having to worry about my mama.
right. He's so stupid.
I'm done. Sam talking about, do you take Blue Cross and Blue Shield?
I do. I sure do. I absolutely do. I'm credentialed with them. Yes, I am.
I guess one of the scary parts for me, and hopefully my internet going right. One of the scary parts for me is that I feel like even though we don't want to recreate this culture of women can be everything, little can be, men can be the bare minimum, and it's okay. And I feel like even though we don't want to create that culture, it's still repeating itself,
It is.
It
and I
is, but
don't
it's
like
our
it.
fault because we're not holding these men accountable. Hold them
hmm
accountable. Make them have to explain themselves. Make
But
them
then
have to explain.
whenever we try to hold them accountable, and this is for some men, not all men. So men, if you feel like you're getting bashed, then
Bro, ain't nobody
put the
about to give
fucking
no
shoe on.
disclaimer for not all men. If
No,
they don't know that, then they the
no. I
problem.
said if they feel like it's about them, then put the damn shoe on. But if you try to have men the whole accountability to be a parent, to be a spouse, to do whatever, then they view us as the angry black woman.
I don't give a
Or
damn about how you view me because I'm responsible for how you treat me, right? I'm
Right,
right,
responsible for how you treat me. What I
right,
accept is what's going to continue. That's
yeah,
it. So if I allow you to treat me this way and you perceive me as being an angry black woman, then we don't need to have a conversation anyway
conversation.
because you're not
Right.
on my level. If
That's
I
well,
true.
can't tell you what my needs are and I can't and you can't meet my needs, I seen somebody say, um, men be complaining about girls that want somebody to open the door for them talking about that's too much. Well, if it's too much, move. Get your
right,
ass
Right.
out the way. If what
right,
I need from you as a spouse, as a parent, as whatever is too much for you to handle, you're not my person anyway. And it's just
right,
fine for you to scoot your ass on over to the side for somebody that
Scooter.
I'm not too much to handle. And that's just
right.
it.
Right.
Right. I definitely been pushing that a lot lately. Like I look when it's more related to I hope y'all can't hear Jackson yelling. It's more related to relationships, of course, but it's like when are we gonna come to the point where we saying this is what I want and that's it? Why we in 2022 keep wasting each other's time, keep feel keep feeling it out, keep waiting to see what happens, keep molding people into people that they not gonna be. Like when is that
Right.
time gonna come? Because
I
you
ain't
want to
waiting on
blame
a
everybody.
damn thing but death.
You want to keep blaming everybody else for why you single or not in a relationship, or why you in a
Girl,
relationship and you
I am
unhappy and
not
all
blaming
that
anybody about why I'm
other stuff.
single.
I didn't say you. Let's be clear. I ain't say you. Sound like a hit dog holler, but no. But I'm just saying, like, we even gotta take accountability in that regard. Like, we got to view things like a lot of people get into these relationships and stuff in that dating period, and they give people half of them and then be upset with them because they didn't got the other half, and it's like it's your fault. You can't blame
Oh
nobody
yeah.
but your daggone self. But you did it
Yeah.
because you scared to be alone, because you scared to be single, because you gotta settle, blase, blase, and then you gonna end up. Would you rather be unhappy and single or unhappy in a marriage or a relationship that you don't belong in?
No,
Some
I'd rather be
people would
happy
rather
and
be
single.
Some people would rather be unhappy and with somebody just to say that they got somebody, and that's
It's a
insane to me. That is asinine.
it's 98% of people in relationships. It's like
Yeah.
people. Somebody can come in and
98 is
say that
high, but
I
go
am
ahead.
lying. No, you can say that I'm lying, but I promise you, out of I could probably think of 5 friends that are married, and there's probably just one that is happy, like 100% happy, and I still don't believe that bitch.
You know what? I'm good. Look, I'm over here like, nah.
Only to find out that you the bitch that she don't believe. Ain't that something?
Right, that part, that part. All right, let me go to the comments real quick. Yolanda said, my boys asked their father when they got grown why him and I was not together. He had to talk to them, not me. I respect
I know
that.
that's right, Yolanda. I know that's right.
Accountability.
I
Hold them
respect
accountable.
that.
I ain't mad
Exactly.
at it. We're going to handle that this week, Yolanda. Doggone it. I ain't gonna keep
Tomorrow.
carrying
Nah.
this burden on my back.
Chris said, I know my worth. Stop. He didn't say nothing about your worth. For number one. Number two, you don't have kids. So you still can grow in your worth, okay?
Right.
Said, yes, Mary, yes.
Yes.
Sam said, preach sunshine. I thank you. I thank you. Look, Chris talking about, he's giving you the look eyes talking about, all right, spill it. She ain't got nothing to spill. None but that drink over there. She ain't got a thing to spill. Not a thing, okay? All right, I found this little list of for 16 signs of bad parenting, and I thought it kind of would be relatable to the topic. So I'm gonna list off just a few things, and Mary, we looking for your expertise to comment. Okay,
Okay, go.
okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do all 16. It's way too many. It's way too many. But out of the 16, number 3 says all advice, no encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah. You got all the advice in the world for your kids, but are you pouring into them? Why are you telling them what they need to be doing? Are you telling them? Are you encouraging them to do this?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
I tell Malachi all the time. I'm sorry, Sunshine.
No, you go ahead.
But I
I
tell my baby boy all the time that he's about to be a man, quote unquote. And so he needs to start making decisions for himself. And so within that, with me telling him that, I have to remember that I'm telling him that he needs to be making decisions for himself. So when he makes his own decision, I can't get mad that he made his own decision and it's not the decision I would have made. You see what I'm saying? I'm encouraging him to.
That's a word.
You're about to be a man now. You need to start making your own decisions. And then when he make a decision, I can't be like, you dumbass boy.
Right.
I can text his daddy and be like, this is the dumbest boy. This is your son. But I'm not gonna tell Malachi that. I'm gonna be like, I appreciate the decision that you made, but can you tell me why you made that decision?
Mm-hmm.
Why was that the decision that you went with?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes as parents, we gotta say when you said that this came to my mind. It's not about making my decision; it's about making the right decision. So what might be right for me might not be right for you. What might be right for you might not be right for me. But you know what I'm saying? We have to be there to support our kids
and encourage. Absolutely. Go ahead. Next one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Let's see. What's another one? Lack of support. It says children need support, especially during stressful times like a performance at school or examination. You could be more concerned about your work, and this might leave your child feeling anxious.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. We need mental health days. Why do we feel like our kids don't need mental? They're little people that don't even have half of the verbiage and the knowledge that we have when it comes to communicating, and we still struggle as grown-ass people. Why do we feel like this little 5, 6 teenagers are supposed to be, just they're supposed to handle everything that's being thrown at them when the world and home is putting so much pressure on them already?
And I want to speak on this support thing when it comes to like school stuff and sports and everything. Too often, because I try to be at my kids at every activity they have. I try to be there. I don't care if it's practice.
Go
When
ahead.
she
I'm
said,
sorry.
I say I don't. I'm a deadbeat.
I'm
yes.
done. Shut up. Keep on. Go ahead, Chance.
So I see a lot of times kids they be looking up in the stands looking for their parents and their parents ain't there. And you can tell that it bothers them.
Hmm.
I understand that sometimes you have to work. You can't make it to every game. I understand that. But it's some parents that is sitting at the house doing absolutely nothing because
Hmm.
I don't like to be hot. I don't like the sun. You knew when you had kids that you was gonna be outside. So why in the fuck did you open your legs to have kids to push them out and you can't go to a fucking soccer match? You can go. Doggone
You
it.
right. You right. You
It
right.
doesn't make sense, and that bothers me. But it doesn't bother me whenever people are working and all this kind of stuff. But if you deliberately are not going out there because you don't like hot weather or you don't like to sit on hard bleachers and all this kind of stuff,
Or
you
you
knew
ain't
all
got,
this
or you
stuff
don't
was
want to
in
deal with baby
existence.
daddy who gonna be there, or
Right,
you
you knew all of this stuff was in
know.
existence before you had your child. So why did
Right,
you make the decision to have kids but not support them? That doesn't
right.
make sense.
A lot of people like the idea of kids. They don't really like kids.
Mm,
Mm, mm.
A lot of
that's a
people
whole
really do
word.
like the idea of having kids because it looks easy, right? On social media, on TV, it looks like this. But when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, like I said, I got a son that has special needs. That was the most difficult shit that I have ever been through and still going through as a parent, to where I just cussed somebody out about AJ the other day. Like, it's all smoke behind that one.
It-
So keep in mind that it's smoke behind, like, as because those are the hard conversations, and we've talked
Right,
before about people not being ready to have the hard conversations about what being a parent is. And 9 times out of 10, self included, when we have babies by these men, women, whomever, we're not sitting down having the conversation about what our expectations are
right,
as parents.
right,
How are we going to parent this child effectively?
right,
and
How?
right.
I will not lie. That is a conversation that I did not have.
I
I
damn
was
sure didn't
drunk,
have it.
vodka, and
Don't
Hennessy.
blame it on the alcohol, T-Pain.
Oh,
Jen,
it was.
make you thin, okay? Jen, make you thin. No, stop.
But within those nine
I was
months,
drunk. These legs said,
but after your legs did whatever,
Uh-huh.
those 9 months, 10 months that you were pregnant, nobody sat down and had the conversation about we're about to
I
have a
didn't.
baby. I didn't
Mm,
do it. I did not do it.
I didn't do it.
How are
I
we in
I
the
don't. I
we're
don't.
together, but if we're together, how are we going to parent these kids? If we're not together, how are we going to parent these kids? We don't
mm-hmm.
have those conversations.
We don't have those conversations, but at the same time, I mean, even if we had those conversations, we still can't control what the other person is going to do.
You
Right, that's true.
cannot, but at least if I had the
I,
conversation with you, I can
I
hold
can
your ass
connect.
accountable for
Mm-hmm.
not holding up what you and nothing is monolithic, like I said. I'm not
Hmm.
saying that we're gonna sit down and map out this plan of parenting, because
Right.
that's impossible. If I could do that, I would be a millionaire, because I would make
Honey.
life so much easier for so many other people. That's not how it goes. But at least let's set some groundwork. You see what I'm saying? With
Right.
parenting
Mm-hmm.
is, do you believe in corporal punishment? How do we do once this kid is
Facts.
16 and wants his license? What age do you feel like is appropriate for this child to
Facts.
get a job? Or what's more important, this kid going to work or this kid's grades? Are sports important?
Facts.
Cheerleading important? X, Y, and Z. Nobody has these types of conversations. When
You
That's
it's
right.
true.
time for Johnny's kindergarten recital or his graduation, am I going to be all right with you bringing your girlfriend? Are you gonna be all right with me bringing my boyfriend, and we all sitting there as a unit for this
Oh,
Hmm.
kid's graduation because we're not together anymore?
Right.
Nobody has hard conversations
Nobody has
because
that's
hard
true.
conversations. You right. Even
nobody,
outside of kids, relationships, jobs,
nobody has hard
parents,
conversations.
none of that. None of us come to the table. Lord, my child is acting the fool tonight. I'm sorry, y'all. None of us come to the table and just be
Metro
realistic
is a
about what we
reality.
Right. None of us come out and have a hard conversation what we really want and need and stick to it. We always conform to, when we get a job, we know that job wasn't gonna conform to me having kids and I might have to take off for their soccer game, but then we get mad because they ain't being lenient because we took off for the soccer game. Like I'm saying, like we don't have hard conversations, period, when it comes to what we need and want, and just stick to that's what it is.
And then we get mad. We don't have the hard
Right.
conversations. Then we mad as hell that our needs aren't being met. You didn't tell
Exactly.
me.
Exactly.
You didn't tell me. So how was I supposed to know? And the hard
Exactly.
conversations end up happening when somebody comes sit with the lady. You know what I'm saying? I got you on my couch, and now you're ready to list out what your needs are and how this person can help meet the needs. That's parents, kids, husbands,
Mhm.
wives, whatever, because nobody, well, I'm going to talk myself out of a job. But if people would just sit down
Never.
and have not ever, if people would just sit down and have the hard conversations, so much would change. And I have shied away from having a hard conversation because of accountability, right? Nobody wants to take
Facts.
account for whatever the case may be. Chastity, you said, hey, the relationship didn't work out for whatever reason because I did X, Y, and Z.
Facts. Facts.
Nobody wants to do that because when
Facts.
you put that type of pressure on yourself, it makes you have to change. If you acknowledge that something is wrong,
Mhm.
then you're acknowledging that something needs to change, and nobody wants to change.
Nobody
Right.
wants to change. And a lot of
Next
times when
on the
we in
list.
these, yeah. I just want to say one thing. A lot of the times it does happen that way, and you really did it to yourself. Like we knew homegirl didn't cook and clean for you got with her, but you mad because you didn't cook and clean. Homeboy didn't have no job and wasn't making no money and smoke weed all day, but then you mad at him because he ain't working and he smoke weed all day. Like we knew this, but then we expect folks to maneuver or change or just have a light bulb moment when we think it's convenient for us, and that's not how it's gonna work
It's not how life works.
And I think
out.
I want to say that although some things are okay whenever you first get with somebody, some people grow and other people stay where they at. So although it was okay whenever we first got together, I done stepped up the ladder, and you staying here, and we have to take that into account as well. That some people just grow and other people are okay. They're just stagnant and don't
Yeah,
want to go anywhere.
But
yeah.
we hold people accountable. We will try to hold people accountable for being stagnant, but we don't hold ourselves accountable for knowing that could be a possibility.
Mm-hmm. And acknowledging it. Now that I know, now that I see that you're not willing to grow and flow with me, now what? Now
Right.
that I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm here, and you're still right here, what am I gonna do with you? Or am I
I'm gonna
content with you being
leave
here, or do I
on
need you
that
to come
midnight
up to my
train to
level? Because
Georgia.
some people are content with having somebody here and it
Right.
not being any growth. But
Yeah,
you
that's
Right.
can't
true.
be with me and not grow. Because to me, if
Right.
you're not growing, you're dead. That's it.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Some of the comments. D said this live needs to be shared. Share. Please share.
Oh, please
Please.
share.
Please. And then she agreed with you as well and said, "Say it, Chad. Support." And then Marion is fan. And
Sorry.
Chris said, "Get a dog." That was in the comment of people just trying to have kids because they think like to look good. Get a dog,
Yeah.
cat, rabbit, one of them.
Anything. You can dress
We got
all
a
of them
bunny.
up.
Fanil said, "I applaud y'all for at least taking accountability for not having these conversations." I mean, that's
Thank
facts.
you.
That's facts. And then Sam said, "Cheerleading is the most important thing in the world." LOL. Woo! Woo!
It is. And look,
Woo!
Sam was saying that because he's a cheerleader coach, but then I think he also was making it like metaphorically too.
Like a pun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
We got it. We got it.
Double
Got you, Sam.
entendre.
We got it. We got it. All right. Number 7 on the list says comparing your child. You constantly tell your child that he or she should be like other children and emulate their positive traits. This is a sign of bad parenting. I think that goes back to
Ooh.
us saying every child is different. We can't parent every child the same. You definitely can't put a child child on a pedestal when you don't even know where the stool at. like we can't do that. We can't do that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I said that in the very beginning about why can't you make why aren't your grades like your sisters are? Because I don't learn like her. Because
Right.
I don't do X, Y, and Z like her. Like me, Tiffany, and BJ all excel astronomically, but in different things.
Mm.
Tiffany is a numbers person. Like my sister is very business minded. If you got a business that you want to get started, run it past Tiffany. She gonna help you, no problem. Clearly, I'm a therapist. My little brother is really good when it comes to like social problems and science and stuff like that. So funny story, we were all in college together. And so sometimes we would all sit down and trade off work on who did what the best. Tiffany, do
Mm.
this math. BJ, the
Mm-hmm.
science is yours. Me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to
That's
write your
smart though.
English papers and help you with your psychology homework
Mm-hmm.
because
That's
we
smart.
all excel in different things in different
Mm-hmm.
ways. So there was no need to compare us because we were all great in something different.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That
That's
makes
real.
sense.
That's real. That's real.
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, it does. It does. Number
Smart
10, I
advice.
think really hits home where a lot of people don't want to acknowledge it. But number 10 says not respecting his or her feelings. You do not take the time to have a conversation with your child and understand his or her feelings. When the opinions and the feelings are disregarded and not addressed in a healthy manner, it could adversely affect your kids. That's a lot of us kids in today's time.
Yeah.
Feelings was not
Not
acknowledged.
feelings, emotions, no support, acknowledging choices. Like I just said with me telling Mally, I need you're gonna do this, so you need to start doing that. How many
Mm-hmm.
times? So I'm older than you, Chastity. Not by much, just by like 3 days.
You
But
got 17 years because I'm like 23.
oh,
Girl,
well,
bye. I'm the youngest one here. Don't do that. But go ahead. Go ahead, Mary.
oh. So I was raised by my grandma, right?
Mhm.
Older lady, of course. She was my mom's mom. We didn't talk about feelings. I never even hugged my grandma literally until I think it was 3 days before she was dying. She had
Oh,
cancer, she was dying. That's the first time that I ever got any physical affection from her. I was 17.
Mm.
17. No emotional support. We didn't talk about feelings. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about feelings. We didn't
Mhm.
talk about feelings. There was no physical affection. There was no encouragement. There was no support. There was none of that in my household. So that is something that I do try to do with my kids because, like I said, once you know better, you do better. Either I'm going to carry on this toxic shit and not
Right.
love on my kids and deprive them of what I wanted, or I'm going to give them what I wanted. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's either
Mhm.
or. So that's definitely a thing. We don't talk, nobody talks about feelings. And it goes back to what we said about these kids having, they need mental health days and they have anxiety and they're feeling this and they're feeling that. And we
Yeah.
expect them, you a kid, you don't got nothing to worry about. What could you possibly have to work?
Facts.
They're
Facts.
kids. They go to school. People are shooting up schools. COVID is in schools. Predators could be in schools. They
Mhm.
have some of the
Mhm.
same worries that we have. Just because they're not worrying about how a bill is going to get paid does not mean that they don't have any worries. And to feel like, hell, you were a kid. You didn't worry about nothing when you were
I
that
worried
age.
about my
Right.
parents sometimes.
Yeah.
Honey.
And that right there
Facts.
is something huge. Like, I'm
Facts.
worried about if mama is okay. And that was
Yeah.
a huge burden
That's facts.
that kids take on.
Yeah.
That's
So,
facts. That's facts. Mm. Sam said, "Y'all better know me." Chris said, and this is good. Chris Wills, kids shouldn't have to fulfill the parents failed dreams.
yes.
Chris, that's a whole other
That's a
topic that
whole
I can
nother topic for a
touch on.
whole nother day.
I didn't
Ooh,
make
Talking
it to the
about,
league, so my son gonna make it to the league. Your
honey.
ooh.
son don't want to
Oh,
play no
I
damn
never went to
basketball.
college. Right. Oh, I never went to college. I'm gonna make sure my kids go to college. College ain't for everybody.
You about to
Quit
go
Child,
rack up
pushing
a
it.
bunch of damn debt and
Quit pushing stuff that ain't for your
we be
kids.
having
I can't
Jonte out there
do
playing basketball. Jonte does not like basketball. Put him in soccer. You
John,
out here
it.
messing up the team
John Tay
because you
want to
got a
be a
dream.
damn engineer, and you got
Right.
John Tay over here dribbling the ball. This joker want to go to A&T and learn this.
or we're not gonna touch on it tonight. Or Jonte might want to be on the dance team and you don't want to support him there.
Can Can we
Oh,
put
shoot,
John
I
Tate
just
on his?
choked.
I'm just saying that's a whole
John
nother
Tate
topic for a
might
whole
want to
nother
be
day.
a
I'm just
cheerleader.
saying. Right.
Exactly.
That part.
Exactly. But I want you to be a basketball player because I hurt my knee in 8th grade. But I could have been pro. Could have been pro, son, if I hadn't have messed up my knee. No, you couldn't have. Sit down, John Tate Sr.
And it goes into allowing your kids to make their own choices because it is like y'all said, it's the case of I didn't go to college, so I want you to go. But is that what I want to do? Because now you're pushing me into something that I didn't even want, and you put me up on this pedestal, and you have these expectations, and now I have all of this anxiety, and they're gonna come see the lady to talk about all this pressure that you put on them, and they're feeling like a failure, and they're overwhelmed, and they feel guilty because they're not able to meet your expectations because this is something that they didn't even want to do in the first place.
Right.
Amen.
And we need to be more vulnerable. Like your butt barely making it yourself. Your butt barely get to work on time. You don't get your tasks done on time. You don't. You in the office with your director every other day. But then you expect John Tay to have straight A's and pay attention to school. Like it don't work like that.
What type
Let's
of
be
example are
real.
you setting for your kids?
Right. Chastity get on my nerves. She over there like, don't talk about me like this. No.
You coming home from work with a write up because you was late for work, and then
That
they
part.
calling telling your kid was late for school, and you cussing them out like your
Right,
ass just
they can't
wasn't in
even
the office.
drive. They can't even drive, but you mad at them because they late.
not me waking up late every morning rushing the kids. Come on, hurry up. We
Now
got
you
5
cussing them
minutes to be
out.
out the door.
And you blaming them. If you would have brushed your teeth in 3 minutes instead of 5, we wouldn't be late.
No, bitch,
He
if
out
you
there
had
like,
woke us up earlier.
Right. Oh, that's so true. That's so true. Chris said, take it from a father who lost a child due to suicide. These kids go through a lot. So if they express a problem, pay attention to it.
Yes.
Chris, my
Facts.
heart
Yeah.
goes out to you, friend.
Yeah, that's facts.
I try to listen to everything they say, even when it gets on my absolute nerves. I don't care that the butterfly touched the tree. I can give two damns about it, but let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm good.
Because what you're doing is you're building a rapport with them now to
Right.
where they're going to feel comfortable coming and having these conversations about anything. And like you said earlier, it's a gift and a curse because Malachi sent me a picture of vomit and was like, so this is what just happened. And I'm like, you threw up. It's okay.
That's me. That's me with my mama. I will
You're okay.
literally still do that with my mama at my big age.
But
I
the
will
thing of it
text her.
is, Malachi know that he can call me and he'll tell his friends, you can call and talk to my mama. My mama will listen to you. I have built that type of rapport with my son.
That's great, though.
To where he knows that it ain't nothing that he gonna tell me that's gonna make me look at him any different. Period.
Right.
Point blank. It
Period,
ain't
point
nothing
blank.
that any of my kids, nieces, nephews, it's nothing that any of them are gonna tell me that's gonna make me look at them different. You can always come talk to mom. You can always come talk to auntie. I got your back, Jack.
I know that's right.
Man, that really comes to light when it comes to these Christian so-called, or I ain't gonna say so-called, these Christian households, growing your kids
So-called.
up in the church and things of that nature. Like, we got to stop being so hard on people for being people.
Say it, put it on a shirt. Put it on a shirt. Put it on a damn shirt.
I'm sorry. Okay, I froze.
Big
I was
and
like, I
bold.
don't know.
Big and bold.
I
Put it on
froze.
your
I was
shirt.
like, I don't
Stop
know if y'all
being
heard
so
him.
hard on people for just being people. Just being people. These high expectations. It's unfair. It's unfair.
And people have higher expectations of other people that they don't even have on themselves. Ma'am, you're making $15 an hour. Why are you upset that I'm making 16? Like,
That's facts. That's facts.
Ma'am, you're not working, but you're upset that Sally Sue got on makeup. But you don't work.
Honey.
But you mad.
You mad though. All right, we're gonna go through these comments. I'm sorry, y'all.
I hate people.
I knew this topic was gonna be good. I knew it was. Sam said a child's life is more public now than our lives were at their age. That's facts. Mary said that earlier. Like, think about we had these smartphones and Facebooks and Instagram and Snapchats and Twitter when we was kids. Okay.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. If cell phones was out whenever I got a little bit older. But if Snapchat and Twitter and MySpace and all that kind of stuff was popping back in my prime of days, everything that people complain about kids doing these days, they would have been like, you see Chastity on there shaking that ass. Show is. Show is.
Yeah. We were allowed to make our mistakes in private.
is.
We were definitely
Yeah.
allowed,
We
and
were.
not only do kids
We definitely were.
broadcast their mistakes, parents have now taken into this social media parenting where they want to parent their kids on social media.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
that's something
that
that I can't, that it grates my nerves. It bothers my
Mhm.
spirit. It does everything. It is the
Mhm.
bane of my existence
Mm.
that people are parenting their kids on social media. So again, we were allowed to make our mistakes in private. The kids now don't have that same advantage that we had. They
Right.
just don't.
like it was like at one point in time, mama only told auntie, grandma might have known, grandpa might have
Mhm.
known. You come to Sunday dinner and everybody like, heard you got an
Mhm.
F. But now everybody knows. Bonquisha
Everybody
all the
knows.
way in Seattle, Washington know what's going on in Florida. Why do you know that I got an F in Miami, ma'am?
Honey.
Right.
It ain't even that. It's on the flip side of people are always trying to be social media famous. So they either could be from yourself or you putting it on your kids as well. So now I
Mhm.
don't really want my daughter shaking her butt on this TikTok. But hey, she got 80,000 likes. Maybe I don't need to say nothing. But really, do you?
Do you? My
Yeah.
kids want my
Like,
kids want a YouTube channel so bad, right? They want it. And a lot of people tell me, your kids are so funny. You need to get them a channel. I will watch it. They're hilarious. But first of all, I don't want monetary gain off of them.
Mhm.
Number one.
right,
Number
right.
two, if somebody comment under there and say anything, I'm asking for addresses because I'm pulling up
Smoke.
all day. You'll be like, where you at? Bitch, I am in Delaware. Pulling up on Star Keisha 72438 kisses. Like, so
That's
I
hilarious.
can't put my kids out there like on social media because the comments will
Because people are cruel and will say some of the most unnecessary things about your
Right.
kids. And I fight about my kids. I will you see all of these degrees. This is all null and void when it comes.
Biscuit thinks somebody dead.
I'm
The
done.
bitch is
Let's
dead.
move on. I'm done. So Gwendolyn Thompson said, I'm not messing with her. Strongholds and generational curses are real. That's facts.
Hey,
Mhm.
That's
Gigi.
facts. Sam said, "Go there, sunshine." I would help you with that one. I think he was talking about the kids being on the dance team. That
Yeah.
part. D said, "Yes, stop being hard on people for just being people." That's fast. That's
Yes.
Mhm.
fast.
Yes.
And then Sam said, "As a man who was raised by a widowed grandmother, we talk more now because she allows me to be me and not her idea of what she wanted for me."
Mm. Sam.
That's real. That is so
Sheesh.
real. That is so real. All right, let me see if I can touch a couple of more of these. Number 11 said, being a poor example. Your child will pick up on all of your habits and behaviors. You might want to think about why and where your child has picked up on a particular behavior.
Do as I
Again,
say, not as I
accountability.
do.
Accountability.
That right there. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Honey.
Parents would say that.
And then follow it up with, but I'm grown. I can do that because I'm grown.
What does that mean to a child, though? Nothing.
When
It
I
means
get
nothing.
grown, I'm gonna do that.
But you set
Exactly.
the example. I can't get and I'm not a weed smoker. Let me put that out there in case somebody won't call my job. Um, but if I was a weed smoker, I can't get mad if one of my kids decided they want to smoke weed because this is the example that I've set for them. What I
Right.
can do is sit down and have a conversation with them about what
Mm-hmm.
smoking weed at their age means for them and about what it
Mm-hmm.
means as far as a job is concerned and things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature. But what I cannot do or what I should not do is I don't want you smoking weed. You shouldn't do while I'm sitting there smoking a blunt. Well, what the heck?
Right.
Why the house smell like weed? The
Right.
whole house smell like weed.
Right. Right.
But you shouldn't be smoking. I'm pretty sure you done got house contact.
Right. That
But you
part.
don't need to be smoking.
That part. Oh, you don't want your child to be a drug dealer, but they ain't never seen you had a stable regular job ever.
What about these people that be out stealing? You in the stores and shit stealing, and then when your kid go to school and get the lifting shit out of the other little kids' backpacks, you don't want you at the school talking about you raised them better than that. Did you?
Did you though?
They did because they got caught. The parent didn't get
You
caught.
know what? I'm done.
You know, stealing is a skill. You gotta hone your skill. They young.
I'm so
They motor
done.
skills ain't that good at when they little. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let them build up
I'm
to it.
done. That's like that Tyler Perry movie the other day. I told your butt not to get caught. Like, no, you should have told her not to do it.
And that's a
Hey.
conversation that one of my son, my baby boy, him and one of his little homeboys, they got into some trouble a couple of years ago. And the mom, the other little boy's mom, wasn't mad that the little dude had got in trouble. She cussed the little boy out that he got caught. There was never a conversation of I'm disappointed in you for doing X, Y, and Z. She cussed that baby out because he got caught doing what he did.
Mm.
I kind of want to ask what happened, but I'll ask off
Yeah,
camera.
ask off
Yeah,
camera.
yeah. That's all that. That's all that. We ain't got time. We ain't
We
got
don't
time.
incriminate nobody.
Right.
Oh man. One of the other things said number 15. Of course, I'm skipping all through this, y'all. I might put the link in the chat if y'all want to go back. But one number 15 said lack of trust. You do not allow your child to make decisions because you are sure they would be the wrong decisions.
Oof.
Henceforth, you don't even give them the choice.
Let me go ahead and put the shoe on.
I just
Facts.
talked about that.
Facts.
Pull that boot all the way up here to my
All
chin.
the way up.
Just talked about that. Just talked about it.
Yeah, you did.
I let my kids make their own decisions, but I also want to know why did you make that decision? Because then maybe if we can talk through why you felt like that was the best decision for you to make, I can give you some input that might possibly change your mind, but it's all about communication. I got to communicate. I can't just sit there and call you all types of dumbasses because you made this decision.
Right.
But I can, okay, Malachi, so this is, you're deciding to do this. Why? Why is that what you want to do?
Right.
Right.
Number
Good.
16 is stepping all over me, Chad. So don't feel bad. Not giving your time. It says you are always too busy to talk or play with your child, or just have no interest to do these things. Being glued to your phone screen while your child is talking, which I'm not glued to my phone screen. That's not the point of me. But I do get caught up in work and striving to provide and making sure that my family is good and things of that nature that I forget that sometimes I need to step away and just be with the family.
Mm-hmm.
I do that
We
all
all
day,
do
every
that.
day.
Listen, even though I would try to make it to every game, sometimes we will be in the car and they will be talking to me, and I'm over there on my work phone scrolling through like like barely listening. See,
Mm-hmm.
barely listening. So
Facts.
I get it, and sometimes I done got better where now I leave my phone in the car. Um, the job that I had previous to this, well, previous, where I had a work phone, I would leave my phone at work on the weekends. I would just leave it locked up in my desk because I knew if I brought it home with me and somebody called or text me, I was going to respond and I was
Right.
going to try to work on it. I don't do that anymore. I done learned how to shut down at 5 o'clock.
That's
And
self-care.
It's so
yeah,
hard, but it is.
and
That's
I'm gonna
self-care.
always do that now. I'm not gonna work after hours. I refuse. I
Mm,
refuse.
mm. For me, it ain't even just work related. I put myself in a lot of things, period.
Yeah,
And
you do.
I'm sure Chris is watching, he could co-sign on this, but I am like everywhere all the time. If it ain't
And
work,
I tell you in a
it's
heartbeat,
side
I
hustle.
will
If it ain't
co-sign.
side hustle, it's church. I'm doing 4, 5, 8, 9, 11 jobs at church alone. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me. I'm always trying to be like the best I can be in so many areas that I lack giving it to my family. I mean,
I
that's
tell you that
facts.
in a heartbeat. Man, I don't say you lack being in the family, but I tell you that sometimes it's okay being no, saying no. It's okay.
Right,
Say
right,
no.
Boundaries. Put those
right.
boundaries in place for your self care because
But
you
then
can't
she will
be
also
everything to
offer her
everybody.
services. That's
I
the
do.
thing.
I
She
do.
will offer her services.
I do. I do. I'll be like, oh, you need help with that? I got it. I do. Knowing good and
I'll
well, I
take
ain't
you
had time
some.
to do A, B, and C. But I sure giving D, F, and G. Yeah, yeah, I do. I do. I do. Sam done said a whole word on here. He said an apple cannot produce an orange.
Mm,
Mm, mm.
Facts.
But you know
Facts.
what can? A concrete can create a rose.
this n- she just tickles the shit out of herself.
No,
I'm not
act
gonna
like
take
y'all
that.
ain't never heard.
I
Tupac, The
have.
Rose That Grew from the Concrete. That was I love that book. And I lost it. Somebody stole it. If anybody wants to, if there's any suitors out there that want to show that they are in like or lust or love with me, you can send me The Rose That Grew from the Concrete
Oh my god.
book.
I don't know what's funny. Are you or Mary Face? I swear it's hilarious. I can't. I can't. I'm so done. Going on to the next comment. I'm not. Chris said, what about gang related situations where the parent can't stop it? Can they
Um,
though?
Chris, I'm not sure into what that was in reference to, but if you would like to hop in my inbox or shoot me a message, I will gladly try to help you with some of that. Because, like I said, I do work with a lot of kids that are DJJ. Unfortunately, gang related situations, I guess it would just depend on what it is you're asking. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
most of the time these kids are getting in gangs. It could be numerous reasons. Maybe they're not feeling supported at home. Maybe it's a
Hmm.
protection situation. It's so many different things in
Peer
that. So I
pressure.
can't
Wrong place, wrong
really,
time.
yeah, I can't really answer that because I don't know what the question was in reference to.
So
Right.
I can say that y'all, my kids want to be hood so bad. I, I'm I'm not here to sugarcoat shit.
Oh, okay.
So my kids, they want to be gangster so bad, and I be like, y'all live in the suburbs. However, growing up, I did grow up in an environment that wasn't too good at times, and I have seen the whole gang life and all that kind of stuff. My
Hmm.
youngest, he a couple of weeks ago, he had said something about that he was in a Vargo gang, which is a Virgo. Virgos are not gang, that's a horoscope.
Bye.
But whatever. So I took the moment to have a whole discussion about why are you so stressed about being in a gang and all this kind of stuff. So it's something that he heard at school and gangs are cool and all this kind of stuff. So I'm sitting in the car talking to my 8-year old, and I was like, do you know that in order to get into a gang, a whole bunch of people have to jump on you and beat you up in order for
Mm.
you to get in the gang? And I was like, and then whenever you decide that you want to grow up and you no longer want to be in the game, guess what's going to happen? They have to either beat you out or either you die. It's one or the other.
Mm.
Is that something that you really want to do? And
I guess my. Oh,
sometimes,
go ahead.
no, well, I was going to say, sometimes you just have to be honest with them and let them know, like, you're going to get your ass whooped. In order to be a part of this, they are going to beat the shit out of you.
But even then, sometimes that's not enough to discourage kids from being
That's
in
It
a
true.
ain't.
gang.
It ain't.
That's not
I
enough
guess
to discourage them.
my thing of is, and I haven't been in a situation yet, so I don't know. But I guess my question for that would be, if your child feels like they have to, I mean, okay, if you live in a location where that's all that's around, that's one thing. I mean, surroundings, atmosphere, neighborhood, all of that takes into effect. But sometimes these kids can be from the suburbs and want to be from a game. I mean, want to be in a game. So I guess my question is, what are you trying to get from them that you're not getting from your house?
Mhm.
Right. Mm. I'm gonna ask Biscuit that next week. Tomorrow. I said next week. Like we
You
on the podcast.
deadbeat too.
Bitch, I might be.
Because just from a lot of the outside of what we see, of course, I haven't been in it, so I don't know. But a lot of what I see from outside looking in is that they go into these games or these groups or whatever is because they're not getting something from somewhere else. So
Mm-hmm.
And
it's
sometimes
supplementing.
it's really just a matter of being cool. They're looking for acceptance,
I was
right?
going to say that
The
fit
ideal
me.
age to start recruiting kids for a gang is in, preteens, teens, because this is the age where you're trying to figure out who you are.
Mm,
You're looking for your tribe, you're looking for your group of people. And if there's not a good solid foundation there, then your kid can easily get swooped up in a gang and not even really they know, but they don't really know how serious it is until they're already in this situation.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah,
true.
and sometimes we have to say as parents that no matter what I've done, they would have made this decision as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we too hard on ourselves when we done everything we could. We showed them everything we could. We blah blah blah, and they still turn out this way. Sometimes it's just gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
it's just gonna happen. Like so, you just have to work within that. So sometimes we do need to be accountable and be hard on ourselves, but sometimes we also need to understand that people are going to be people.
People
And
are
like
That
going to
you,
is
be
true.
people, and no matter how much you try to parent your kid, it's going to be your child is a person, right? They're
right,
people, and they're going to do exactly what it is that they want to do. It's some things that my oldest son has done that I feel like are deplorable, and I have to remind myself I really didn't raise him to be like that. This is a choice that he's making,
right.
Right. That's
and I
true.
have to
'Cause,
absolve myself from
honey,
that.
when I
To
was out here being a hoe, I'm pretty sure my mama was like, "That is
log
not how
off.
I raised
Come
her."
on, log off. Wrap it up. Let's go. We're done.
I'm
It's a
so
wrap.
done with her. I'm
Wrap it
so
up.
done with her. Oh my god. I'm going to the comments. Ain't nobody mess with her. I think Mary already acknowledged this, but do as I say, not as I do is what the reference was to. So he was
Oh,
Yeah.
clarifying
about
what he was
the
talking
gang
about. Yeah.
situation.
Chris,
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you my address. I'll send it to you.
You know what? That's neither here or there. Kent, I'm guessing I'm saying you now. It said, I'm from the west side of Chicago and gang life was just reality. Yet in various other places, it's only about being popular and cool. But it's
Hmm.
not cool
I agree.
though.
But in
But
some
see,
places it is cool.
think
It's
You want to
about,
die
considered
for
cool.
popularity? I don't want to die for popularity.
and that's what I mean about they don't. Okay, so you think about. We gonna talk about Lil Wayne. Suwoo gang, blood, whoop de whoop, yada yada. Been
Mm,
claiming this gang since I can for not as long as I can remember him, but for a lot of years. And so
right,
at one point in
No, Lil
time,
Wayne switched over.
that's what a lot of the kids felt like was the thing to do. It is popular and cool in some places to, or if you think about Chastity, if you think about the way that music and media and stuff is putting out, these dudes that are rapping are putting out, the gang life, then the kids are feeling like that's what they need to do. It's drill music and all of this other kind of stuff. Like it's the stuff that we had to endure growing up is real different
right,
than for these kids.
right.
And
That's true.
also, I just, um, even though people will say gang life is not cool, in some people's eyes, it is cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it's like just little things. You're like, ooh, I want to do that. Ooh, I want to be able to throw up the signs. A whole lot of people was crip walking as a dance, but it wasn't
That was
a
me.
dance. See, and then you sitting over there semi throwing up the hands. So in your mind, it was cool or whatever. But then you can also say the same thing about people that want to join fraternities and sororities. Like it's cool.
Mm,
It's a
mm,
rite of passage.
mm.
And and people don't want to, even though sororities and fraternities, they don't necessarily go out and kill people and all this kind of stuff, supposedly. um
I'm done. Go ahead. Mhm, mhm.
But there are a lot of groups in the community that people
Ooh.
join because they think it's cool.
Ooh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at sound
Ooh,
comment. That
yes,
thing touched me.
religion.
That thing touched me. But hold on, we're gonna go back up. So Kent says in the 90s, Crips were hot. Now Lil Wayne, Game, YG, Young Thug, and so many more make a being a blood cool. So they are growing for real, for real. That's
Mm-hmm.
facts.
Hmm.
That's facts. Sam says some people look at religion as a game.
And that's true.
Whole word. That's a whole word. That is a whole word. Oh my God. Well, we are way past time, y'all. We had an hour and 34 minutes, but it's been so dang good. I do want to leave out on the thing that Mary sent because I know we was gonna touch it, but I want to leave out on it. Somebody posted and it says, "My only goal is to raise children who still like me, love me, and want to be around me as adults. Who pick up the phone, call me, checks on me, and makes time for me. Imagine raising children who couldn't wait to leave you or who intentionally stay away from you. There'd be no one to blame but you. That's why it's so important to respect your children, allow them to be themselves, speak life into them, pray for them, apologize when you need to, and be mindful of the words that come out of your mouth. Because in the end, it's not about what your intentions were, it's about how you made them feel. Heal so
Mm.
you can raise your children who don't have to heal. There's no way to be a perfect parent, but a million ways to be a good one."
Amen.
Yes, Dashnae Coleman, wherever you
Whole
are.
word. That's the whole word.
Mm-hmm.
That sum it up real good if you ask me.
Yeah,
Sum it up
Yes,
real
perfectly.
good.
Yeah.
Sum it up real
that's
good.
the perfect ending to it.
Ooh, well, thank y'all. This topic has been amazing. We already knew when we had Mary J on, it was gonna be great. But thank y'all so much. This has been an amazing discussion. If you haven't if you haven't done so far, please like this, share, comment as you watch it later. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, etc., etc. We trying to spread the word of Occasionally Posh. We trying to spread the word of Black women power and all that. So please make sure to support if you can. If you have any topics you want to discuss, if you know a good guest that could be on, if you could be a good guest, you can either inbox me or chat to be, or you can email us at occasionallyposh@gmail.com. And then you can also bless us with a monetary gift because doing this ain't free at Cash App at
Well, and we're
money
trying to build a
sign
mini
occasionally posh.
studio. We're trying to build
We
a
are.
studio, people. You know, I'm
We
trying to be in
trying
the
to do it.
studio. When my man be like, "Where was you at all night?" I be like, "I was in the studio." You know what I'm saying, son?
I can't. I
We
can't.
can't never just end,
We
right? It
can't.
never just ends. It's always
Never.
some bullshit.
He never. He never.
I was, I was
I'm
shooting
dead.
dice and I was losing.
I'm not. I'm not. Just to acknowledge these last two comments, Kent said I was almost killed to get out, but I had to do what was needed to get out of prison. Great shows, Queens. I'll be on next time. Please.
Thank you,
Please,
Kent.
we want you on. And then Sam said, "What is Mary J office information so she can get my Blue Cross and Blue Shield?"
Sam, I will send you the information because I also need you to send me your work email
That part.
per today.
But anywho, we're gonna get off of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We see y'all next week. We're gonna have another lady on next week. So tune in for our Women's Month edition of Occasionally Posh. We thank y'all so much. Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.